Today we're going to talk about 2 uncommon houseplants. My name's Abby Orso. Let's get into it. I have a few Abutilons around me here. This is a start that I started last year. It has a leaf that looks kind of like a maple leaf, so I know why they called it a flowering maple. They're velvety to touch. They're delicate and happy. The blossoms look almost tropical-like, and they kind of face downward. So when I use this as an indoor plant, I like to have it up on a stand or on a ledge, somewhere where you can actually see the flowers. When I have these indoors, they flower about 3 times a year. They're really gorgeous. There's a few reasons that I really like these plants. One, they grow really fast. And so last year, this was about 2 inches, and now it's about 2 feet. I like that about it. The second thing I like about them is they're not very temperamental in the house. So I can tell when they need to get watered because all of a sudden they start to look a little sad and wilty. Ooh. But then you water it, and then the next day they've perked right back up. So they like indicate very nicely that they need water. And I've yet to kill one because I haven't watered it enough, or I've overwatered it. So it's like they tattle on themselves very nicely. They tell what they're doing very nicely. You want to have it in a window, a bright window, bright indirect light, bright direct light. They don't mind that. I've brought them outside in the summertime. I'm in zone 8. And as long as you don't get like a hard summer rainstorm, then they're very happy outside as long as you keep them watered. This is also an Abutilon right here. They come in all sorts of different colors: pinks, yellows, reds, whites. They're just gorgeous. And nobody really talks about them as an indoor plant. So this is my gift to you. I love to pot things in terracotta, and that's what I'm going to do today. I trimmed this guy, had a long crazy branch, and so I just trimmed it and had it in a vase for greenery around my house. I pulled it out the other day and saw that it was rooting, and so I am going to pot this up today, and I'm going to use this as like a backdrop so you can see well. Let's see, here's your roots. So I'm going to put it in dirt and hope that it lives. I was shocked to pull this out of my vase. It had just been sitting there for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks. And I thought, man, that branch is not wilting. That's doing great. And I pulled it out and saw the roots. I was surprised that it would root with all these leaves up top. Here we go. Upper root here. There we go. Gently push that down. Lovely. And then I'll just use this water to water it in. And I will put this in a bright window. And I think that I just accidentally made myself another plant. How cute is that? I'm talking to you about indoor plants. Now, my favorite pots to use are terracotta. I think they are pretty, and I like that they're a natural material. You know, when they break, they can go back to the earth. But the other thing I like about them is people say I have a green thumb, and I don't. I'm just quick to throw away dead plants and replace them. So I don't feel like a total whiz when it comes to watering. And what I like about the terracotta is the terracotta will absorb excess water that you might have in your dirt, and then it kind of releases it back into the dirt for you. So I think it's forgiving in that sense, that you don't have to be like a super scientist green thumb girl to know how much water your plant gives. I guess terracotta for me feels forgiving and it looks good. So that's why I go with it. But it is porous. And so when you have your little terracotta saucer and you're indoors, if you put this on your wood table or your window ledge, you're going to get rings around your ledge. So this is my solution I've come up with for the months where I pull all my plants inside. So I'm going to show you my ideas I've come up with. Here I have a little bowl that I made in a pottery class once, and it's very cute, and we used to use it for soup, but I thought, hey, that looks nice, and I wanted to bring blue throughout my house. And it doesn't matter, I could have actually a pool of water in here and it doesn't go through, and that's the whole point, to protect the indoor surfaces. This is a candle base from Schoolhouse Electric, and it is just this streamlined, cool bottom. And I would put the terracotta saucer on top of that, and so that would keep the water from actually touching the surface. And then it's just this cool streamline little rim of brass. I also use coasters. Here's an old coaster I have, and I use these all the time underneath my saucer, and it works for bigger saucers too. Dishware that you get that you realize isn't dishwasher safe, and you don't want to always be hand washing things, but they're pretty, right? And so that is always nice. I would actually, for this, I would have it in the saucer, and then I would put it in the dish. And the other thing I have is I have sample tiles that I've ordered over the years just to have sample tiles. And then I have a cool random tile and I don't know what to do with them. I've started turning those into barriers that I can put my plants on. So this is terracotta, true. I have it up on like furniture pads to lift it up so it doesn't scratch. And then it's just lifted off and it keeps the area nice and dry and clean. The one thing I don't like about these plants is that they grow so quickly and their branches don't catch up with them. So sometimes you'll have to support it or put twine around it. And when I was pulling this one out today, I noticed this branch was drooping. And so I thought I might as well trim that up, and I'll put it in 2 vases. And we'll see if in a month from now they've rooted, and then I can pot up some more Abutilon. So I cut off about, I don't know, 14 inches here. And then I'm gonna cut it in half. This one will just stick straight into the water. Take off the bottom. Take off the bottom leaf. And here I'll take off some of the bottom leaves just so it can reach into the water. And then I'll put these in a out of the way place that gets direct light, and we'll see if they root up. My second recommendation for an unusual, awesome houseplant, something I don't see in magazines, I don't see this all over the place, and I've actually learned about it from Sarah Raven, who is over in England, and it is geranium. In England, they bring their geraniums in. So they keep them in pots, bring them in, overwinter them, and then bring them back out in the summer. Now, where I'm at, I've only ever seen people plant geraniums for the summer or have them in a hanging basket and then throw them away when winter comes and we get the frosts. So when I heard that, I started bringing in my geraniums, and turns out they're awesome. So this is the geranium a lot of people, at least I would have originally thought of, the bright red geranium that just looks like summertime, an Italian summer scene that you see. They come in hot pink, they come in white. They're really gorgeous. So this is one of those, and I've had it inside over the winter and it's doing great. Now, geraniums are really great houseplants because the geranium needs to not be watered all the time. It thrives on neglect. So this is the standard geranium that you're probably thinking of when I say geranium. Of course, these are not flowering over winter in the house, so they are just green. When I was younger, I used to work at the best flower shop in town. And one of the big things that our florists would do is they would put scented geraniums into our bouquets. And people would come and they would get their flowers and they go, you know, people who like to smell, they go, oh, it smells so good. The flowers smell so good. And what the people didn't realize is a lot of those flowers, you might think that they were putting out a nice scent, but they really weren't. It was actually the scented geranium that they were smelling. I was at a specialty plant store and they had scented geraniums. I bought a couple because the smell reminded me of that time working at the florist, and those people were really special to me. And so I bought it kind of as a nostalgic thing. And then I decided, oh yeah, I'll overwinter these scented geraniums too. I think scented geraniums are the coolest indoor houseplant. Let me show you this one. It's not an overpowering smell. I have people with big allergies in my world and they have never once commented on the smell of this. It smells fresh. It smells delightful. You only smell it when you're cutting it or when it's crushed or when you get your nose right up to it. That's why it was so good in the arrangements, because it had been cut. But as the plant, it's very mild and pleasant. Now, what I like about these is the crazy unruly shape that they take on. I have cut this quite a few times, and I think that that's lending to the unruliness of it. But I think that that's cool. So you can grow these and cut these and use them in vases around your house or arrangements if you want to give to someone. They are very practical in that sense, in that you can actually like use them and be rough with them and they're perfectly happy. I don't know if you have any crystals or what. This is a geode my son cracked in half. I always like to put crystals or geodes in my pots because I don't know what else to do with them. So that's kind of a fun little like jewelry for the plant. This is my big scented geranium, and I just keep this on a dresser in my office. And this is it. It grows pretty unruly. If I was going to cut it, I'd probably probably cut it here and put some in a vase. But what is cool, what's happening in my office right now is it's kind of falling over and like kind of spilling down the side, but it doesn't want to spill, so it's trying to fight its way back up. I probably need to cut this back, and I'll put those in a pretty vase and maybe put in the bathroom or something for a nice smell. So here I have one of those cool pots that is a hand wash only. And so I don't use it for cooking, but I think it's so beautiful. And it turned out to be a great saucer for this size of pot, and it keeps my dresser nice and safe. So it's kind of a win-win in that department. So these are my two uncommon houseplant recommendations. I've got Abutilon and a scented geranium. I think that any house would look great with these. You can treat them well and they will grow into huge, amazing plants for you in no time at all. And you can enjoy them for years to come. Oh man. Okay, I came up to show you a geranium leaf and saw that there was one in my hair. I wonder how long that was there. That's kind of cute. They smell very nice. They just remind me of working for Susie and Carroll. Both the Abutilon and the scented geranium, I would say, are plants that a plant beginner could get. The Abutilon kind of has a built-in wilt factor when it needs water. You water it, the next day it's happy again. And with scented geranium, it needs to be neglected a little bit. So you could forget to water it or just give it a little out of whatever is left over in your glass, and it's probably gonna make it just fine. So I think both ends of that spectrum are helpful for a plant person who maybe doesn't feel exactly like a green thumb, well, which is me. So that might also be why I have been drawn to the scented geranium and the Abutilon.